A clearer picture is emerging of what happened in the seconds before an Asiana Airlines plane crash landed at San Francisco Airport. Investigators say the plane's landing gear hit the seawall at the end of the runway before the tail broke off and sent the plane skidding. Peter Bowes reports from Los Angeles.
The plane crashed because it was too low and travelling too slowly as it came into land. But the events that led up to the catastrophic chain of events are still far from clear. What the investigators do know is that the aircraft first lost its landing gear and then its tail as it struggled to reach the runway.
While out at the accident site, I had an opportunity to walk the entire debris field from the aircraft to the seawall and back. When you get down to the seawall, you can identify where the first strikes took place. First, the main landing gear impacted the seawall, and then the tail. You can see pieces of the cabin, sections of the cabin, that are found very early on in the debris field. You can see aircraft parts, galley materials, newspapers, magazines, and flooring.
The pilots have told investigators they were relying on automated equipment in the cockpit to control their speed as they came into land. The investigation will now focus on whether a mistake was made in setting the auto throttle or whether it malfunctioned. As the painstaking work of piecing together the sequence of events continues, an extraordinary story of survival has emerged. 2 flight attendants in the back of the plane escaped with their lives despite being thrown onto the runway when the plane slammed into the seawall.
2 of the flight attendants in the rear of the aircraft were ejected from the aircraft during the impact sequence, and so they were not at their stations when the aircraft came to rest. They were found down the runway and off to the side of the runway. Those flight attendants survived, but they obviously had gone through a serious event and have injuries.
The federal investigators have also revealed that 2 of the inflatable slides on the flight deployed inside the aircraft. Crew members had to use axes on one to free a trapped colleague. The president of Asiana Airlines has arrived in San Francisco. He apologized and said he wanted to focus on helping the injured passengers and their families. Investigators say it'll be several months before they reach a final determination about the cause of the crash. Peter Bowes, BBC News in California.